This is going to be such a unique project. It's the first solid hardwood project that I've made for a personal matter. See, as the only woodworker in my immediate family, and finally coming to the age where I can financially support a project of this magnitude without freaking out too much when it comes to looking at my credit card statement, I'm hoping to start a tradition with my kids that they will carry out one day when it comes to the moment in their lives they start having kids. At this point, my wife is halfway through her pregnancy, and it's about time I started working on this chest. I deeply admire uniqueness and cool ideas. I love when you can look at an art piece and know it's a particular artist when looking at their work. I'm not saying I'm anywhere near that yet, but I'm hoping this chest will be the first trickle in that bucket that will eventually be my recognition when it comes to woodworking. I'm so excited for this project because I know it's going to take a couple wild turns that are really going to stand out amongst a lot of traditional hope chests. For this project, we're using mesquite wood. This is primarily because every other wood that I've found that grows natively in Arizona is really hard to come by in a hardwood store. I first looked at Palo Verde, and that is not a hardwood, it's a softwood, and it's typically ignored when it comes to woodworking. I next looked at desert ironwood, and desert ironwood is a gorgeous tree, but there's one thing you'll notice about it is it's kind of small and really slow growing. Because of this, the supply of ironwood is very little, and typically you're only going to buy it in like small blanks for a lathe. Not to say that this wood is not gorgeous, because it is. It's like super duper pretty, but I don't think I would be able to afford getting enough to build a chest like this. So that's ultimately how we landed on mesquite. Now that you have the backstory, let's talk about the build. With the boards squared off, they're ready to get cut to rough dimensions and glued up. But first, we want to put some thought into how they're going to be presented in the final product. I want the front face and the top of the chest to be the prettiest boards with the most character, the deepest color, and the coolest grain pattern. Fortunately, I have about 2 board lengths here that honestly look gorgeous. And so that's going to be ultimately the first 2 pieces I cut and the first 2 panels that get glued up. I'm so excited for this project, you guys have no idea. Because mesquite wood has so many cracks, random growth patterns, and just so much character, we're going to incorporate saguaro skeleton butterfly joints into the build. We're going to get to that later on, but me just describing the future of this box while I'm editing these first clips is just so exciting. I currently don't have anything here yet, and the project you're seeing me narrate is only up to the point that you're seeing. And so I'm taking the clips, bringing it in, editing it, and just thinking about the future of this project as it's going on and bouncing around in my head. But I'm currently waiting on a few things to come from Amazon to really tie all this in to make it a just badass hope chest. And I'm really looking forward to what you guys think about it down below. So with the boards paired off, we start the rough cuts to prepare them for glue ups to become the panels of each side of the chest. The reason this chest isn't going to be gargantuan like a normal hope chest is because the current plan is to make an individual hope chest for each one of my kids so that we can give it to them when they move out in the future. But during their childhood, they will always have a safe place to keep their sentimental things so they know where to go when they want to look back on their lives. With the top, front, bottom, and back boards all cut, we are now going to start gluing up all 4 sides. Because they're all pretty much the same dimensions, I'm only going to document 1 glue up, and anything else that is a little bit special, like maybe the top or the sides, I'll focus in on that when that time comes. And right here you see me trying my hardest to ensure that these boards stay as closely aligned as possible. I ended up cutting a couple wooden ribs out and putting blue masking tape on them so that I could clamp and put pressure down on top of those ribs to ensure that the boards in the middle are pushed to be completely parallel with each other without having really any lip hanging over on either side of the board. After this, we're going to take these boards and plane them down in the planer. This, I'm really just trying to take the smallest amount of depth off the top. I'm just pretty much cleaning them up to ensure that these boards are perfectly flat and straight with each other. And what you're seeing right here is what I did to all 4 sides I described earlier. Now that the boards are glued up, we need a flat surface so that they can go through the planer nice and easily. To do this, we're going to scrape all the excess dried glue off with our hand plane just to ensure that they stay nice and flat when we run them through the planer. Just for a safety measure, I also wanted to pour some resin in all the large knots and cracks. I'm a little concerned that if I plane them without this resin in there, we might lose a chunk due to stability issues within the wood, because some of them are just holding on by a few fibers. I don't want to jeopardize a nice panel we just glued up and just waste a whole bunch of time essentially. So a little bit of resin is going to help keep everything locked together, and then also it's going to help me in the future when I start doing some butterfly joints that I mentioned earlier. Although resin is going to serve a few purposes, I mostly did this just for the peace of mind. With all that said, we need to move on to prepping for resin. There's a lot of like termite debris, I think, or just bug debris. If you don't know, mesquite trees kind of bend and crack in a lot of monsoons, and that's why you get all this character, because these limbs and arms that they're growing, I feel like are almost evolutionarily designed to break, but keep the main tree standing. Because of that, we get all this wicked pattern and growth, and there's a lot of opportunity for bugs to move in and set up home inside these trees because they're constantly cracking and shifting. And you'll see in some of these clips, I'm just pulling out a whole bunch of dust and dirt and other things, which doesn't bother me at all. I'm really grateful because it's going to give this chest such a cool look when it's finished. And with all that said, I got some tuck tape, I believe is what it's called, and just vacuumed out all the dust, and we moved on to pouring the resin. So with everything taped off, we're just going to start with the first pour. It's just going to be a kind of flat black resin to start. I might incorporate a little bit of like, I want to get a greenish blue color highlighted in this box because it reminds me of all the saguaro cactuses and I believe it's called the farina on the outside of the cactus. It's the waxy coating that protects it from the sun. A lot of cactuses have this. Saguaro in particular just kind of stands out to me, especially during certain times of the year. It has this just beautiful soft green bluish color to it, and yeah, I just want to pay a little homage to that if I'm going to incorporate the saguaro skeletons down the line. With all the larger sides of the box complete, for the most part, we're going to work on the top a bit more. I wanted to kind of pay attention to the sides of the box. I'm just starting these. I'm not entirely sure on the exact shape. I kind of want I want to have 4 feet like a more traditional hope chest, but I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do it in a more creative way, I guess. So for the time being, I'm just going to glue up the panels just like I did with the rest of the other sides, and yeah, they're just going to sit there and wait until I come up with an idea, I guess. But this is where I'm going to end part 1 of this series. I want to break this up mostly because I'm still waiting to kind of get some saguaro skeleton. I got all the brass hardware from Amazon, and I'm excited to show you guys all that in the next video. But for now, I just want to kind of wrap this up. And I appreciate you for listening to the backstory of this hope chest. If you can't tell, this is an Arizona-inspired hope chest, and I cannot wait to finish this. Like I'm kind of just constantly thinking about it, whether I'm at work or even in bed at night. You know, I'm like, oh, I just want to go in the garage and keep going. So I hope you're seeing that enthusiasm through the video. It's kind of hard to capture, but yeah, I hope you have a wonderful weekend and week and whenever you watch this. Thanks for tuning in and giving me those watch hours online. Really helps out the channel, and I appreciate it. Also, we made it to 600 subs, and I'm stoked. We're getting close. I'm just hoping to keep this woodworking bandwagon going, and that's partially why I'm breaking this up into a 2-part series, because I need a little consistency in my life, according to the algorithm. So, thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye.